Welcome back, part two. Glad you could rejoin us. Plenty of ground to cover, loads and loads of ground. James Gregg joins myself and our special guest Nicky Weaver this evening. Just before I forget, thanks to, on behalf of near 7,000 runners, to everybody who turned out for the Sheffield Half Marathon last Sunday. It really was a memorable, fantastic event. I've been running this for a few years now. I've got to say it was the best turnout. There were people all the way along the route, and a terrific event, and so grateful to all the people en route, not only who supported, but you were falling over jelly babies, literally tripping over jelly babies. You couldn't fail to get a jelly baby every 20 yards.
Nice, like that. But
yeah.
You made a bit of a schoolboy error. We're not talking about that without come on, tell everyone what the schoolboy error was that you made.
Well, I've run about 40 of these things, and it's the first time I've ever arrived without shorts. Running shorts.
So it was the Wally with the tracky bottoms.
I was the Wally with the tracky bottoms. Even now I'm scratching my head and how did I manage to do that? I tell you when I realised the mistake. I was in this hospitality area at the McCure Hotel. I thought, right, I'll get the tracksuit top off. I'll take the tracky bottoms off. I started taking them off. There's only a pair of boxer shorts underneath.
Oh, no.
That's when I realised my mistake. And it was either boxer shorts or the tracky bottoms.
I think you made the right choice.
I think I made the right choice. Have you ever had a kit cock up, shall we say?
Not really, but again, I don't think I'd want to play in my underpants, so definitely think you made the right choice with your tracky bottoms.
Definitely. We'll cover James, Commonwealth Games and loads of other stuff.
Yeah, loads of stuff.
Eagles winning as well.
There is indeed, yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to go for that now?
No, let's go for that in a minute, because
go for it.
Nicky, apart from playing golf for Sheffield Wednesday and being an academy coach, is a lifelong supporter practically, and you've got some great memories. So just warm the cockles of everyone's heart with your best Sheffield Wednesday memories as a supporter.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've been going since I can remember, so sort of mid-80s, and obviously when you got to sort of 89, 90, that sort of time, when I sort of really got into it, started following home and away for sort of 4 or 5 years then, so sort of right at the late 80s to sort of 94, 95, I followed everything, went to all the Wembley games.
You were spoilt then.
Oh, so I was so lucky growing up with that era, your Hurst, Waddle, Sheridan, Palmer, all these, great players. Went to the 91 Cup final when John Sheridan scored that volley, which was, my first proper big memory in football. I'd be sort of 11 or 12 at the time, and fantastic time. Then obviously the 93 semi-final, Wednesday United was just, you just can't imagine it now, can you? But I remember going there and I was face painted, and I just remember millions of balloons being there, and obviously Chris Waddle's amazing free kick after a minute and a half or whatever it was, and obviously getting through that after extra time, it was fantastic. Disappointed with the 2 cup finals, but 2 cup finals finishing, I think we finished 3rd in the Premier League that year. It sort of seems a long way off now, but it was, looking back for me as a Wednesday fan, it was great times.
A bit closer to things with Cardiff.
Yeah, absolutely, and again that was not too long ago, but again feels like it was yesterday on one hand, and again club got back up to nearer to where they should be, and again another great day out for the fans and different venue, but obviously a good result. Yeah,
I mean, when you look at things now, there's been a fair bit of doom and gloom about. You wouldn't think this had been a club that had twice come fairly close and been in the playoffs. I suppose that speaks of expectations.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get much closer, do you?
No.
Obviously, we've got there.
It can be deflating, of course. Yeah, I think there's an element.
Yeah, a little bit punch drunk, I suppose, after, because obviously the game against Hull at the first time we got to play a final was, losing 1-0, and you're so close, you're in touching distance, and then obviously losing on penalties last year was sort of heartbreaking. But it was always difficult for the club to sort of follow that, and you become a sort of victim of your own success, if you like, and the expectations level change, and so obviously it has been a disappointing campaign at the side of those two, but looking forward to next year now, and hopefully we can get back up there challenging.
That first season when Carlos came in, there was not really that expectation to get in the playoffs, was there? So obviously then the second season there was that expectation. It's difficult to follow that, isn't it? Again,
Yeah, and how many times can you keep producing the goods? I mean, when Carlos first came, we didn't have a great start. Probably the first 6-7 games, then we went on an unbelievable run, and some of the football we were playing were fantastic. He was an unknown manager over here, he certainly isn't now. the team, again, no one expected them to do anything, so we're sort of the surprise package in the division, I think. And as Huddersfield last year, for example, and it just shows you Huddersfield beat us, and now they play in the Premier League, and it could have easily been us.
You say an unknown manager. Same true of the present one. In terms of us here in this country, though we've got a track record in Germany, Jos Luhukay. What's been your overall impressions of him as working with him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't obviously work directly with him, but you watch the training, and obviously I go to as many games as I can. He's very calm, doesn't get flustered. I mean, I remember I was at the first game at Bramall Lane, and obviously it's a very hostile atmosphere. The game was sort of on a knife edge, and he remained very calm, sort of in his technical area. So he doesn't get flustered, which I think is a good thing. And I think that does filter onto the players. So if he's getting flustered on the touchline, then they might lose their heads a little bit. But he's a very calm man. And recent results, apart from the last couple, have been good.
That's an interesting point, because it takes all sorts. Carlos was quite emotional down there, and this guy's very, very calm. And he's had some flack from that for supporters. Never get flack from that when you win. No, they say, oh, he stands there, doesn't do anything. But what can you do on that touchline?
There's no right or wrong way. It's just your way. And if you're losing, that way's wrong. If you're winning, it sort of gets pushed under the carpet. No one really mentions it. So it's just, if that's the way you do things, that's the way you work, that's the way you believe. But whatever you do, if you're losing, you're going to get criticised in this day and age. You've got to take the pat on the back when you're winning, but so as a manager, you've got to have thick skin, and you're going to get criticised when the team loses.
Fans like to see someone waving their arms around and shouting, don't they? Regardless of what's probably coming out of the mouth, they like to kind of look at the touchline and see that the manager's waving their arms around and looking passionate, I suppose, don't they?
They think passion is, like I said, someone ranting and raving at everybody. And I always remember when Sven-Göran Eriksson took over as the England man, he was very much like that, very calm, and we had great success under him. As soon as the success starts to dwindle a little bit, people say he's not passionate and what have you, but people show passion in different ways. And obviously, the manager shows his passion in a different way. He's very calm, he wants his players to be calm, sort of in possession. And yeah, that's just his way, and hopefully it turns out to be a successful way.
Yeah. I heard a story the other day about a manager in the Championship, current Championship manager who shall remain nameless, who occasionally will do this, like that, or like that. And according to somebody who's been near him on the touchline, it's for visual effect, and
there's absolutely nothing coming out of his mouth. Out. Have you ever come across anything like that?
Not really, but I always remember when Stuart Pearce was there, he was very animated on the touchline, but when you got in at half-time after the game, he was quite calm. So I think a lot of it as well is nerves, because especially from someone who had played at the level that he had, it's very difficult that you actually can't do anything, so you've got to try and get your frustrations and all your anger out. And release. When you get into the dressing room, you're quite calm.
Goalkeepers are a bit safer than outfield players, particularly wide players who are close to the bench of managers, so that they get more than, or hear more than others. You're in a virtually safe zone, aren't you, there?
Yeah, you
don't hear anything.
Yeah, you just can't hear anything from the manager there. But yeah, you won't want to be a fullback or a winger.
No, but then again, you've got all the away fans behind you calling you fat and all that kind of stuff.
I've had plenty of, but it's all part of it. And
did you enjoy that?
I did if we won. I remember I get pelters at Bramall Lane once.
Snowballs.
And they were calling me all sorts, and I was trying to explain to an Italian lad what a pig was and all this, and he couldn't really understand it, but he found it funny. They were calling me a fat so-and-so and what have you. But yeah, it's all part of the fun, and as a goalkeeper, I think you sort of thrive under it, but it does put you under a little bit more pressure when they start giving you a bit, as long as I tried not to react to it, but sometimes you do.
You were snowballed once somewhere, weren't you? I read.
Yeah, and so I was playing at Dundee United against Aberdeen.
Oh, it would be up there.
It was snowing. I come out for the second half, running towards the away fans, the Aberdeen fans, and there's hundreds of snowballs coming at me, and one got me right on the dial. And I ended up signing for Aberdeen a few years later, and quite a few people claimed they threw that snowball. But yeah, again, it was all sort of harmless fun.
Yeah, Pat Jennings, you won't remember that, Pat Jennings at Hillsborough in 1979. You were too young. You weren't born in 1979, were you?
Well, early 79, but yeah, probably won't remember.
You won't remember that. Well, I'm afraid I do. You won the Scottish League Cup with Aberdeen, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't play. I was on the bench, but it was that was my last season playing, so it was nice to sort of, although I wasn't playing, to be involved in a winning team, and it was fantastic. We played at Celtic Park, and I think there were 43,000 Aberdeen fans and 7,000 Inverness fans, so it was quite
a little bit
quite
overwhelming.
but it was fantastic to be involved in. You know, again, good memories to sort of finish off my career.
Quite good up there, isn't it? The atmosphere and all that. It's,
yeah, some of the games are fantastic. Some of the games, you know, the crowds aren't great, but obviously the big games, your Rangers, Celtic, all them, and you know, there's some good games up there.
You've got a bit of a Harry Kane story to come. I mean, he knows everybody. Harry Kane, Peter Schmeichel, David Seaman, David James. He's played for Kevin Keegan, etc. So there's lots and lots of name dropping to come. You know, goalkeepers don't drop the ball unless it's a name drop.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
that's the only thing that they ever drop in it.
Yeah,
we've got loads of that to come after your roundup.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll start off with the Owls. Back losses for them, but good to see Fernando Forestieri back in the fold and on the score sheet as well for Wednesday. They've got a resurgent Hull this weekend. Massive win for the Blades on Tuesday night against Middlesbrough. Keeps them in the playoff hunt with 4 games left. I think Chris Wilde will be very happy with that, really. And another huge match this weekend against Millwall, who currently occupy the final playoff spot in the Championship. So that's Saturday at Bramall Lane. A week off for Sheffield FC ladies. Same with the Sheffield United ladies as well. They drew to Burton last Sunday in non-league. Sheffield FC men, they drew to Cleethorpes on Monday night. They're actually just getting underway. They'll be getting underway in just a few moments' time against Belper Town. And Hallam FC, they've won 7 in a row. Ryan Hindley's just come back in as like an assistant till the end of the season there as well. I didn't know that. Yes, I think he'll be putting all that down to him.
Really?
Obviously, that's 7 wins in a row. Yes.
Oh, right. You will be. It's all.
It's all down to him.
And guess who's in next week?
Is it Ryan?
This is I'm pretty sure it's next. Either next week or I'm pretty sure it's next week. He's in, but he's in a different guise, or can I say different guises?
Right.
Because you remember the impressions he did.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, he just had 2 or 3, didn't he?
Yeah.
At that time,
he's got a full repertoire now.
I believe he has. So I've been on at him for ages and ages. I've said, Ryan, I want you to come in and be whoever you want to be. And so he's in next week, and we've got 2 guests, and I'm trying to think who the other one is. Oh, it'll come to me.
Oh, it's good. If we want a big name guest, just get Ryan in.
Just get Ryan in. He can be anybody.
He can be anybody we want. Chris Eubank was a good one. Actually,
so, So I've invited Kel Brook, but I've not heard back.
Oh, we'll get him in as well.
Because he does a brilliant Kel Brook.
Very, very good, actually. Yeah, very, very good.
About Hallam.
Yeah. He's back in the assistant under Scott Bates, who was sort of his striker when Ryan was the manager. He's now managing, and Ryan's his assistant.
Smart.
So so they're 7 in a row. Is probably that's cemented their playoff spot in that division. It's all down to Ryan, apparently. I'm sure that's what he'll tell us next week. They've got Dronfield Town this Saturday, incidentally, away from home. So a bit of a local derby in that one. Finally, some good news to bring you on the Sheffield Eagles Rugby League front as well. Off the bottom of the table in the Championship, thanks to 2 wins out of 3. First, they beat Rochdale a couple of weeks ago on that Friday night at home, and then they got a good win away at Swinton last Sunday as well, just by 1 point. So that's good. They've got a toughie though this weekend. Sunday they play against Lee Centurions, who've just dropped down from the Super League. As well, so that's a good one. That's at home as well this weekend, so still plenty of tickets for that one. In Rugby Union, Sheffield Rugby Union Football Club from Abbeydale Park, they're not quite relegated just yet. They've got to win all their remaining fixtures to stay in National 2 North. They've got Otley this weekend, so it's a tough one, so I think the dream might be over of staying up this weekend, but we never know. Wish them all the best. And the Sheffield Tigers, they've got Huddersfield away as well in a mid-table clash. Sheffield Sharks in basketball, they've had some killer losses actually in recent weeks. They can get themselves back into the playoff spots though. Tomorrow night they play against Newcastle Eagles, who are currently in 4th. They've just sort of swapped places, so be another good game, that one for them. Probably missing Mike Tuck actually, who's actually captain in England at the Commonwealth Games. Well, he was captain in England. They actually got knocked out at the quarter-final stage to Mike's home sort of country of birth, Canada. Right. So that was a bit awkward for Mike, because he's talked with a Canadian accent, as we know, if you've seen him on the show here. So they lost to Canada. A great effort, though, and a great experience for Mike and the rest of the team out there. Plenty of other Sheffield athletes, though, competing on the Gold Coast. Luke Cutts from Sheffield, he won pole vault bronze. He actually picked fellow City of Sheffield teammate Adam Haig into 4th, so agonising there for Adam Haig. That'd be nice. 2 medals to bring him back to Sheffield. And Ellie Faulkner in the swimming as well. She got a bronze, and the Haslam brothers, they're still to compete tomorrow in the early hours of tomorrow morning in the springboard diving final as well. But no fairy tale ending for Nick Matthew in the squash. He lost in the quarter-final stage, but what a man, what a career. And it'd be great to get him in here and just sort of reflect on that long 20-year career. Fantastic.
And fantastic to sign off at a Commonwealth Games.
Yeah,
as well,
fantastic.
You know, quarter-finalist, just given everything.
On his own terms as well, you know. I know you'd like to have brought home another gold, but yeah, on his own terms. Fantastic. Yeah, great bloke.
Magnificent career, and no tribute sufficient, really.
No, exactly,
Matthew has done and what he's achieved. We do hope to see him again very, very soon.
We do.
Nice on that sofa over there. One name you mentioned there, which jogged a thought in my mind, Fernando Forestieri. How much of a buzz around the whole club has that produced to have him back on the field?
Yeah, obviously has been, certainly in his first season here, was a standout player for us, probably standout player in the division. His unbelievable talent. I mean, he actually come back for the under-23s. We played a game at Hillsborough. We didn't know we were playing till the morning, and the manager came in and said, listen, Fernando's going to play. I think he played 60 minutes, and it was fantastic. You could see the young lads really enjoyed playing with him, and he just loves playing football. So I think it's been difficult for him. He's a fan's favourite, so it's been difficult for the fans, obviously, not seeing him. Now he's back. He's been out for a long time, so although he's got a couple of goals and what have you, he's been quite a few games where he's back to his best, but it's just nice seeing him back out there playing football, doing what he does best.
Yeah, I was talking to Gary Megson about him quite recently, and he just said simply he's the best player in the Championship.
On his days, he's unplayable.
Yeah, it can make such a difference if the right structure's around him, and you know, one would think there'd be a lot of changes at Sheffield Wednesday one way or another.
You could see that goal when he scored the other night as well. I know they were like 4-1, he made it 4-2, didn't he? And
it's a class goal.
A great goal, but then he sort of ran off, and you could see, even though you're losing, obviously in that situation, you're probably running the net, pick the ball up and jog back, but he was kind of, get in, and loved it.
He's missed that. He's missed being on the big stage, and you know, he's a big game player, and he's missed those moments, and obviously a couple of goals he's had would be great for his confidence as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Clinical finish, wasn't it, and difficult across the keeper, the way he placed it there. Tell us about these guys that you work with then. Managers, first of all, stand out one for you, you know, among some big names?
My favourite manager I worked under was Joe Royal, because I probably played my best football under him. We had 2 promotions and then, unfortunately, a relegation, and he got sacked. So that was difficult for me as a young lad, because he gave me my debut at City. But I've enjoyed working under lots of different managers. Kevin Keegan replaced him. I didn't play loads under Kevin because I started off playing, then I got a serious knee injury, and then the goalkeepers you mentioned earlier, Peter Schmeichel.
You kept bringing goalkeepers in. I don't know how. It must have been a great experience for you to work with these guys, Schmeichel, David James and David Seaman. But when each one arrived, it must have been a bit heartbreaking for you.
It was, but I was going through injury problems of my own at the time, so I've ended up having 6 operations on my knee, but I had 4 in a short space of time over at City, so I wasn't fit for a lot of the time. But it was great to train with them, see how how different they were, how they prepared on a match day, and just to work with them. And then obviously there was Joe Hart and Kasper Schmeichel as well, who was sort of 17, 18, 19 at the time. So great to see how well they've done from where they were then. So yeah, obviously worked with some great keepers at City, and yeah, tried to pick little bits of all the experienced ones there and take it into your own game.
Which must help you now as a coach, that you can refer to all these qualities, individual qualities that you've seen in the best, really.
Yeah, and also not just the goalkeepers you work with, the goalkeeping coaches you work with, and the outfield managers and stuff. So yeah, all the goalkeeping coaches I work with, you know, you pick little bits what they did and bits you like, bits you don't like, and try and put it into your sort of coaching style.
Who's your England nomination then for the World Cup?
I'd like to see Joe Hart play there, because I think he's had a really rough ride over the last couple of years. I played at City with him, and he's a great lad. But you know, Jordan Pickford's done fantastic when he's played for England. He's kept 2 clean sheets, and it looks like they really, really want to play out from the back. So if that's what they really want to do, for me, it'll probably be Pickford, but Jack Butland's good as well. But obviously none of them, unfortunately, are playing right at the top end of the Premier League at the minute. But there might be a few twists and turns yet, but I think it'll be one of those 3.
All right, and I know you've got a little bit of a Harry Kane story. Harry's been in the news claiming that goal from last weekend, which, you know, brushed his shot. I think it did.
Yeah. Well, if I was a striker, I'd try and claim it.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, also, he was instrumental in kind of leaving the goalkeeper unsure where the ball was going to go, wasn't it?
When it comes across, you're sort of setting yourself thinking he's going to head it, and, you know, it's obviously just brushed off him, and whether it did or it didn't, it looked like it perhaps did, and fair play to him for getting the goal.
You come across him, haven't you? Quite early, eh?
Yeah, quite early. And I didn't actually realise at the time, and just before he made his England debut, I got a phone call off a journalist asking me, you know, what do you think Harry Kane's going to do for England tonight when he makes his debut? And I'm thinking, well, what's this got to do with me? And he said, hey, he scored his first league goal past you. And I was like, oh, did he? He said, yeah. So when I was at Wednesday playing, he was on loan at Leyton Orient, and he scored for Leyton Orient. So that was news to me, but yeah, he scored his first league goal past me. So.
Do you remember anything about that goal?
No.
At all?
No, really? I can't, to be fair. I think it was a day to forget.
Did it come off his shoulder?
Possibly.
yeah, probably.
So yeah, but I can't remember it particularly well. But hey, he's obviously scored lots of goals since.
Yeah, it's nice to have that claim to fame later. Harry Kane scores the goal, wins the
people
World Cup for England,
Yeah.
and you could say he's first goal of his career he scored against
Plenty of people scored goals.
Yeah, that's great stuff. So, what are your ambitions in football now? I mean, you're from Sheffield. It's fantastic for you that you work in your home city. You're working for your boyhood club. Where's it going to take you from here, do you think?
Well, I
what are your
mean,
thoughts?
You know, being a Sheffield lad and growing up supporting the club, to play for the club's sort of dream come true now, work for the club, it's just great, and I'm really enjoying my time. Andy Rhodes, who's the first team goalkeeping coach, has been sort of instrumental in not only my coaching career but my playing career, so I really enjoy working closely with Andy, and I've learnt a lot from him, both as a player and a coach, so I owe a lot to him. And all I would say is at the minute I'm really happy. Never know what's going to happen in the future, but at the minute I'm happy at the club. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, trying to pass on that little bit of knowledge that I've learnt over the years, and hopefully we can bring some more keepers through like Joe and Cam.
Yeah, they have done fantastically well. Did you get involved? I mean, they've moved on from you, haven't they?
Yeah.
In the academy, you've seen them move on. Is that in some ways a bit like a father seeing his child go off to university or something, which I've experienced 3 times? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I sort of took up the coaching role, I was sort of working mainly with the first team and Andy Rhodes most of the time. Obviously, occasionally they'll come with me, and maybe I've passed a little bit of knowledge on to him over there, because I was there as a player when they was there as well. But Andy Rhodes deserves a lot of credit for how well he's brought them through, and for 2 to come through at the same age, both local boys, it's fantastic. And who knows where they'll end up in the future, but they've certainly got all the tools in the bag that's needed.
Any others coming to push?
There's 1 or 2 younger ones down the line, but you know, you can never the best players at 16 aren't the best players at 18, and as a goalkeeper, you know, you can only really look at them when they get to 20, 21, 22, and the way Cam and Joe have progressed over the last 4 or 5 years has been phenomenal, and they're still progressing now. Yeah,
I know you know Cameron, don't you?
Yeah, good professional, works hard. Yeah. I think he's a bit boring now, to be fair. Sits down at home.
Good golfer as well.
Yeah, is he? Good golfer.
Yeah.
Really?
He's took a few quid off me over the years.
Has he? Yeah.
I wish I could hit it as far as him.
Yeah, he's a big lad, though, isn't he? He's a big lad. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that as you know, without looking at their saves or anything, I've just thought they look as if they belong. There's something about the presence of a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
When I've seen both of them, I thought, hey, you look as if you belong there.
Absolutely. I remember going to watch Joe. He went on loan to Barnsley. He played a couple of games for Barnsley, and I went to watch him at Oakwell against Sheffield United. It was only his 2nd game for Barnsley, and he just looked like he'd been there for 10 years, sort of thing. He looked really calm. He's got a great temperament, and Cam has as well. Cam has obviously not had the opportunities that Joe's had, but when Cam has had the opportunities, he's certainly impressed people. I remember his save against Swansea in the cup, and it was a phenomenal save. Just a real
was doing the rounds everywhere. That on social media.
Absolutely, it was a fantastic save, and one that he'll remember forever because it was brilliant.
Yeah, and on TV. Live TV.
And there weren't much else to talk about on Match of the Day that night, so that was the main talking point. And great for Cam, because he's had to sort of, he's been in Joe's shadow, and Joe's a little bit younger than Cam, so Cam's bided his time, and when opportunities have come, he's taken them.
Yeah, okay. Hey, that's the end of our time, which is amazing, really, because it's been very enjoyable as ever. Thanks, James. Thanks very much indeed, Nicky. Nicky Weaver has been a superb guest for all of, 45 minutes, best part of an hour. And we've got that man of many faces and many voices, Ryan, in the studio next week. Promises to be very entertaining. This is on YouTube later. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.